Welcome to Spiraling Soul, a podcast where we discuss our findings and revelations on our spiritual journey as they're happening. So hopefully they can help you too. Today we are going to talk about kind of just the introduction to the book that I'm reading, The Awakened Way, Making the Shift to a Divinely Guided Life by Suzanne Giesemann. And we're just going to kind of go through some of the points in here and discuss our thoughts on it and dive a little deeper into it. And yeah, enjoy. I'm reading this book and I feel like I'm having a bunch of like aha revelation moments. Like, oh yeah, this makes so much sense. This makes sense as to why we're here. Well, this lady wrote it and she was in the military, like pretty high up there. And like the military way where you're not emotional and everything's very logical. But then her daughter got struck by lightning. This is a real life thing. Her daughter got struck by lightning and died. Yeah. And then she was like, and then she retired and she went to a medium, and that medium was like contacted her daughter and was telling her information that only her daughter knew. So she was like, okay, I think I like believe in this, and like I want to learn how to contact my daughter from the other side. So she decided to meditate every single day, and nothing was coming through in meditation, but she like stuck with it, and she really believed like I'm going to be able to contact her. And she ended up being able to contact her, and she gave like information only like she would know about. So now she's going around the world and she's talking about kind of her spirituality experiences, because she's contacted people from beyond, like other people from beyond or different entities, and has gotten a lot of like downloads and messages about like why are we on earth, like what are we. And it comes down to we're just consciousness. So I'm going to read some of the little things, and I thought it would be fun to like kind of have a discussion about it and kind of dive deep into it and just kind of like theorize on just have fun with it. So basically this book it's The Awakened Way. The Awakened Way is the soul's answer to your earthly challenges. It is designed to show you how to shift from feeling dissatisfied and disconnected to being aware that you are part of an intelligent, creative, benevolent universe, and that you are lovingly guided every moment. As you maintain greater presence and follow this guidance, you make choices that are in alignment with your highest self and enjoy a purpose-filled existence. And Albert Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness at which it was created. So, yeah, basically, you have to, the answers to your problems are at a higher consciousness level, which I feel like is true. Like, do you feel that?
I mean, I don't really understand. I've just gotten the message that none of our problems even matter. Like, none of them even exist, really. So I don't know. I'm not really understanding.
Yes. But when you're at like in different states of consciousness, you believe that the problems are real. So it's like you have to change your consciousness level to understand like your problems aren't really real. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe we'll learn some more. Okay. Yeah. Okay, here. I have some explanation. History continues to repeat itself because most humans are ignoring the higher levels where the solutions to our challenges lie. It is time to embrace what I call 21st century spirituality. This requires updating your belief system with the latest scientific discoveries about the nature of consciousness and the underlying reality. These blah blah blah. So, yeah, so basically a lot of this is just being like, let's change our beliefs, because you can't, if you have the same beliefs, then you're going to continue to have the same problems because you still believe the same things, type of deal. And she's like, this isn't a self-help book. It's just here to change your belief system and allow you to have a consciously connected and like guided life. So she said, the 3 E's of living the awakened way are educate, experience, and engage. So you have to educate yourself, but just having knowledge doesn't mean like anything if you don't actually apply it to yourself. So you have to experience these things. And then once you do, you'll begin to engage with metaphysical beings and have metaphysical experiences. She said, like, one of the biggest things with trying to change your belief systems is your ego, which is the aspect of your human self that supports your story. So, like, we all have this story about how, like, who we believe we are and how the world is. And when something questions that and is basically telling us, like, this story that you believe, like, it's probably not even true. And then that makes your ego feel not good because it's like, well, now I'm wrong. Like, you're telling me my experience is wrong. And so, yeah, that's like one of the things that kind of stops it. And then she said, like, I'm going to tell a lot of stories in this because it has been scientifically proven that hearing stories of others' experiences not only expands your own beliefs, but also opens you up to having similar experiences, which I feel like so true. I feel like just us talking to each other over the past few years about stuff we're experiencing in our revelations and just kind of woo-woo stuff that's a little more out there has opened us up to like having more of those experiences because our mind is trying to reaffirm that this is real.
Yeah, or even realizing like, oh, this thing that happened to me, maybe it has a deeper meaning than what I originally thought.
Yeah. I have personally felt that hearing other people's stories has made me feel like, okay, if someone else has experienced it, it's not just this made up thing that's unattainable. Now I know people, even if I haven't met them in real life, that have experienced this, and that means I can experience this too, and therefore now I'm open and looking out for those type of experiences. And then it says, you are fully capable of coming to know peace from within firsthand and feeling the joy that arises spontaneously as soon as you begin aligning with your true nature. Heaven is a state of consciousness, a state of mind. So basically, like, we can have heaven right now. We can have peace right now. It's just, what mind state are you in? Are you going to allow yourself to have it? And it's something within, not something that is external or given to you by like other people. And so she gives us like these truths. This is the part that had me like in goosebumps. You are a soul temporarily playing the role of a human being in a physical body on planet Earth. You are a direct expression of divine love. All that is missing at the human level is the awareness that what you are seeking to fill from the outside world is already present within you. We all started off as this one consciousness, this oneness. And then this oneness wanted to experience otherness. Like, how does it feel to be other? And so then it sent our split up like these souls, like we're all the universe, we're all this like God, quote unquote, that was split up so it could experience a whole bunch of different perspectives of what love in a physical expression is, because it knew what love was on a consciousness level. It kind of felt that love, but it wanted to know, like, how does it feel for it to be in a physical body? And so now we're all out here experiencing the universe. It's the universe experiencing itself from all these different perspectives. Because it wanted to experience love physically. And now that, like, this, I don't think this is in the book that I can remember, but now this is making me think, like, is it because we're physical beings and we have bodies that fucking Earth is so fucking traumatic and horrible sometimes?
Like, what? Like,
because we have to, like, in order for us to survive, like, if we were just consciousness, we could kind of just do whatever. Because we don't have a physical body. We're just, like, kind of just floating in space. Like, we're just this, like, soul. Whereas now we have a physical body, and now we have all this other shit we have to worry about, like eating and pooping and sleeping. And because we have to maintain this physical body to survive, and people could, like, stab us and hurt us, it's just painful.
Aren't those other people part of the oneness?
Yes. Oh, yeah. So they wanted to also experience what, like, maybe our soul wanted to experience what it was like to be stabbed. I don't know if any of this is making sense. I just woke up
I mean, I believe that we're all just one consciousness. Like, we're all the same thing. I don't know how we got to this point on Earth where we're all, like, like, miserable. But I think that's why it's our responsibility to continue to heal that and, like, not what's the right word, like, subscribe to these things that humans believe are important, like things that humans believe are important when they're really not, and not acknowledging what's actually important, which is just, like, pure love and acceptance and, like, all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we got to this point. I feel like maybe it's something having to do with the programming. like I don't know. Ever since recently, I've been thinking of everything as, like, a computer program or something, like a game. Like, I've been really, like, thinking about, oh, we're literally, like, being programmed right now. Because I saw this TikTok of this guy that explained it. For example, I'll have to, like, find this video. So, on your computer, there's the little trash bin where you put files you want to erase.
Yeah.
So, he said that is a visual representation of deleting files. When you know more about computer science and you go deeper, it's actually like a string of like coding, and then you keep going deeper and deeper, and it's 010101, like, and so that's like our reality too, is like what we see in front of us is a visual, like how our perceptions can pick up on, like, it's just a physical representation, but it keeps getting deeper and deeper, if that makes sense. Like, and so that just makes me think it's like a program that we're in.
Well, and to take it a step deeper, the file, the trash file, even though you deleted something, it goes in that trash file and you still can click it and open and bring it back up. But you have to be like, okay, no, I'm actually deleting this for good. And I feel like that's some of like the beliefs that we have, like that we're like, okay, you're in the trash. But then sometimes they come back up because they're still on our computer, technically.
Yeah. And that's why it's like did we talk about this last time? The programming stuff, and like you have to continuously, every single day, continuously keep changing your beliefs. Like, you have to be consistent. Because I kept thinking in my head, I'm like, why am I never changing? Why am I never, like, the same things keep popping up over and over my whole life? And Source just said, you have to continue to show up every single day. It's like retraining you have to reprogram your brain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're still downloading that software. It's like taking time. And I was thinking about this like literally yesterday, that we have the old belief and we've had so much proof that this old belief is true. And now we're starting to make a new belief, but you can't just be like, okay, I'm going to believe this now. Like, you have to have proof and proof and proof and proof and proof for you truly to be like, I believe this. And what's interesting too, like a specific belief that I have, because I was talking about it in therapy, and she was like, okay, so we're working on this belief of that I didn't even realize I had. It was so subconscious of I'm not good enough. And she's like, so when you hear that and you say that to yourself, what like percentage of you still believes it? And I was like, I would say like 20% still believes that. But then when I say like, oh yeah, I am good enough, like 80% of me believes that. But the more I've been reaffirming it and truly believing it, it's like it's getting smaller and smaller that I don't believe that anymore. So it's like I'm still downloading the software and the old one is still kind of deleting.
Like, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take so much time, and it's like really easy to want to give up. Like, I even experienced this recently, basically with the belief like I can't get the things that I want.
Yeah.
Even though it's been proven to me that I can do well and like get everything that I want, I'm still going through this time right now where I'm not seeing the physical like outcome, and I'm waiting on a lot of things, and I have to be so patient, but during this waiting period, my brain is trying to convince itself that it's not coming. Like the things, like I have multiple things coming up in my life that are really, really important to me, and I'm waiting for them right now. And this waiting period is making me doubt myself so much. And I'm just like, when will it ever end? Like, when will this self-doubt ever end? And it's like, no, I have to make I have to make the hardest conscious effort every single day to challenge this belief system. Like, it's hard work. It's really hard work overcoming like what you've been programmed to believe about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, same spot. We're in the same spot. And
yeah.
It's like having faith. I think that I was thinking, dude, we're same wavelength, whatever. We've been thinking about the same shit like around the same time always. But it's having faith is the biggest part for me. It's like, well, like being like, no, this belief's not true. It's actually this. And then having faith that the universe is still putting together the pieces that I need behind the scenes. And I think now we are in alignment, like we are in the feeling, like we're feeling the feeling of what it feels to have that thing that we want, even though we don't have it. And because of that, now we've like shifted over and things are going to start to fall into place because now we're in that timeline of that feeling. And it just is going to take a second for the universe to catch up.
Yeah, I had seen someone talk about it recently of like that waiting period where, what did they say? It's like there's always a lag kind of with the universe. But once you plant the seeds, it is coming, but you might have to wait. And it all depends on how you were thinking before that thing. So that's why it always seems to get worse before. Sometimes it can seem worse before it gets better because of this lag. Because before you changed your mindset, you were probably not in a negative mindset. And I don't know. It needs some time to catch up. That kind of is similar to this thing that came to me. I don't know if you'd call it a download or just
I
me
think we
like
should
being
just
tapped
start
in.
calling it downloads. I think we should just be like,
yeah,
it's a download.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I sit down, meditate, and get really like in tune with, and then I listen to my intuition and things come to me. And this is what kind of came to me the other day. It kind of relates to like manifesting or changing your life. So this is something I learned in mindfulness class, and I talked about it in previous episodes of how thoughts, emotions, and sensation, like body sensations, are all like interconnected, like mind, body, heart. And so I was writing about how the way that you can manifest easier is by utilizing this triangle and like hacking it kind of. So like the thing that kind of is hard for people when they're manifesting is like they might have thought patterns of like, oh, I can't have this thing, I don't deserve this thing. So basically like what this theory is that even if your thoughts are like not aligning with what you want, you can try to align your emotions or your body sensations with what you want. So like for example, I'm a huge ruminator. I've been ruminating like, oh, I can't have this thing, I can't have this thing. So what I did is I closed my eyes and I envisioned how it would feel to have this thing. So like what would I see? What do I hear? Like all my sensations. And since mind, like thoughts, body, emotions are so interconnected, if you start to feel like, if you try to pick up your sensations and feel what it is like to have this thing, then it's going to connect to your emotions, and you're going to be like, okay, this feels peaceful, this feels joyful, this feels like everything I want. And then your thoughts are going to follow and be like, oh my gosh, I have this thing. And so they kind of all loop together.
Yeah, there's sometimes that I'll go into just visualizing what I want, and all of a sudden I'll come out of it. I'm like, oh shit, I felt like I was actually there. Like, I felt like I was there. And like, it's like my consciousness went there or something. I was not in this reality.
Yeah. I've had that too. It's always when I'm visualizing. And sometimes I visualize things, like there's a couple pictures in my head that always pop up that I feel like is my future experience that I'm able to like tap into. Like I feel like once I'm in that moment, it's going to be like deja vu because I've seen it in my head so many times. And when I'm there, it'll be like, I don't know, it's like I'm having a premonition or something.
Yeah. Well, and like, if you're looking for apartments one day or whatever your premonition was, and then you actually see it, it's like, okay, I know this is the one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I can visualize it right now. Like, I have my like safe place, my calm place, and it recently changed to my childhood best friend's room because I think that's probably the most peaceful that I've ever felt in my whole life was when I was with my childhood best friend and we were like little. And I can just I can see her, like right now I can see her fucking bedroom. And it's like I feel like I'm going back in time and like I'm there. And so when I do my EMDR work and she's like, okay, what did little Casey need? I physically visualize myself in that room, like crying and then just like hugging her. And I feel like that's where she lives, is there. But that just goes with like visualizing. And like I feel like I feel like you're just tapping into a future timeline, whereas like what I just did was like tapping into the past.
Yeah. That's kind of like what I think what deja vu is, or whenever you're in a moment and you feel maybe not even deja vu, but just like something feels so right. And then you realize, oh, I've thought about this thing in the past, or oh, I keep thinking about this moment in the future. Like, for some reason, I always think back to this time when I was a kid that I experienced deja vu, and I keep thinking back to that moment as I'm older, and I'm like, was that first feeling of really crazy deja vu me communicating with my future self? Because I keep thinking back to it.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah. And it's like every time I experience deja vu, I mean, not every time it's significant, but a lot of times it's something that like is important. Like a key moment or something.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like those key moments are usually like the most random, simple things. Like I feel like they're usually not anything crazy. Like it's just an everyday experience where it's like you're just tapped in your being.
Mm-hmm. This moment I was talking about as a kid was literally just me running by, like, in the grass by a barn at twilight, like in the evening.
That sounds so mystical.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep thinking about it. But I think it was maybe it was the first moment where I realized something is, like, I think that's when I was first aware, like, oh, something is, like, going on in this maybe it was like when I gained consciousness or when I just realized as a kid, like, I think there's something deeper going on with life than I realize.
Mm-hmm. It was probably like you were tapped into nature. It was a beautiful moment. Like you were truly in the present moment. And that is what, like, she talks about this in the book of that is love. When you are just being, when you're not thinking about the past or the future, like you were experiencing divine love. And that's like the feeling everyone is searching for. And that feeling can be tapped into literally right now.
Yeah.
In this moment. But everyone's searching outside of themselves for this feeling when it's like, dude, you already have it. Everything you need is already within you. Stop trying to fill it with outside stuff.
Yeah, that's where you find like true and utter love is in this moment. And this moment exists infinitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so speaking of love, and she says, this force, this light is indivisible, leaving everything connected at the deepest level. And what do we call such completion and absolute connection? We call it love. It's a good thing that our brain acts as a filter for this powerful energy that is all around us. If the full force of the love that is our essence were allowed to flow through us unimpeded, our bodies could not handle it. Like sometimes I'll be so happy that it feels like I want to explode. Like it's so much. And it's like I just boom.
Yeah. That's exactly how I felt. Like, how much is left? Because I have to go pretty soon.
Oh, well, there's like this whole like book, but we can stop whenever and then like pick it up another time because I'm sure I'll have like a lot more thoughts on this.
Are there any like last points, like if we can wrap up?
Well, that was like the end of kind of just the introduction of this book and like the foundation. I think that is a good place to end. And the next chapter is You Are This. And so it's talking about like, you know, like this is what you are. And it talks about a lot of like, I am, like the bigger I am. Basically, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's really interesting. My mind was blown. There were so many times that I had to pause during this book to reflect on it and like really think about it. And I was like, damn, this is trippy. So, maybe next episode we can like dive deeper into that because I feel like it's giving us a lot of good points to just kind of reflect on.
So that's it for this episode. Let us know what you think. We have social media in the links in our bio. Thanks for listening.